In 2.6 part 2, we're going to have two other questions where we're asked to solve the triangle. And again, that means to find all three unknown sides and all three unknown angles. And in this case, I need to pick where I'm going to start from. And I'm choosing to find angle B first. From angle B, I'm going to label my triangle. This is the hypotenuse, this is the opposite, and this is the adjacent. I then make up my list on the side. First of all, starting with the two numbers that I know, 12.2 and 19.2, followed by a question mark of what I'm choosing to find first. The 12.2 is my adjacent side, the 19.2 is my hypotenuse, the question mark is angle B. I need to find a formula that has an adjacent, hypotenuse, and an angle in it, and that's cosine. The formula says the cosine of A is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. In this case, I'm not looking for A, I'm looking for B. The adjacent is 12.2 and the hypotenuse is 19.2. I'm going to then take and divide 12.2 by 19.2, and I'm going to leave that to 4 decimal places, and I'm going to get 0.6354. Now again, you'll notice that you have a letter beside the word cosine, which tells me immediately that I need to use my shift button when I'm going to calculate this. So I'm going to punch in this decimal, second function or shift cosine, and rounding to the nearest degree, right off the bat, I get 51 degrees. Keep in mind that once you hit the cosine button in your calculator, you no longer write the word cosine down, and instead you write B, and because it's angle B, I'm going to specify that. That's how big angle B is. Now, let's find angle C using our 180 degree rule. Yes, it is angle C. Angle C is going to be equal to 180 minus 90 minus 51, and angle C is going to be 39 degrees. And again, I circle that so that I know I have it. Continuing my work up here, I now need to find my third side. My third side is always going to be found using Pythagorean theorem, because that's the easiest way. Pythagorean theorem says that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and again you want to keep in mind that c always has to be your hypotenuse. A and b are either of the other two sides. I'm going to let a be 12.2, so I'm going to have 12.2 squared plus b squared is equal to 19.2 squared. Squaring these numbers, I get 148.84 plus b squared is equal to 368.64. My job is to get the b by himself eventually, and I'm going to begin by getting rid of this 148.84. To get rid of that, I'm going to subtract it from both sides. So minus 148.84 and minus 148.84. These are going to be gone. I'm going to be left with a b squared is equal to 219.80. To get the b by itself, I square root it and the other side. Now I'm left with b is equal to 14.8. My last step is to draw my triangle as I see it here, and label all the pieces of information just to make sure I have all 6. 3 angles, 90, B is 51, C is 39, we know this is 12.2, this is 19.2, and side B was 14.8. The next example is at the bottom here, and this is the last one, and again you need to decide what you're going to find. Now, I'm going to begin this question by actually finding an unknown side, and I'm going to find this side right here, and I'm just going to call him X. So we have our angle, we have our hypotenuse, we have our opposite, and we have our adjacent. Making your little list on the side here using the two numbers that you know a 17.3, you know a 62, and our question mark refers to an X, which is the opposite. The 62 is the angle, and the 17.3 is the hypotenuse. Which formula, which formula connects a hypotenuse, an angle, and an opposite? Well, that's sine. So sine of A is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Sine of 62 is equal to x over 17.3. For this question here, we are then going to take our calculator and we're going to punch in the sine of 62. We are not going to use the shift button because we have a number beside the word sine. We're going to write that down to 4 decimal places. 0.8829 is equal to x over 17.3. The trick now is to put this guy over 1 and to cross multiply. Cross multiply means those two multiply together will equal these two multiply together. We are then going to get x is equal to 17.3 multiplied by 0.8829. X is equal to 15.3 when we round to the nearest tenth, as we were asked. So let's kind of on the side here keep track of what we found. We know that this is 62. We know that this is 90. We know that this is 15.3. We know this is 17.3. So I need to find this angle and this side. Let's go and find our third side. Our third side is found using Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And again, c is our hypotenuse. Let's let a squared be the side we don't know. Let's let b squared be 15.3 squared. And our hypotenuse is 17.3 squared. When we square 15.3, we get 234.09 is equal to 299.29. Our job is to get the a by itself, and I'm going to first of all get rid of this 234.09 by subtracting here from both sides. Those turn into 0, and we are left with a squared equals 65.2. You now want to get the a by itself, and you do that by square rooting it and the other side, and you then end up with a is 8.1. Let's go back on our diagram, put that in. The only thing I have left to find now is this third angle. And to find a third angle, we use our 180-degree rule. And this is angle E. Let's not forget, angle E is equal to 180 minus 90 minus 62. Angle E is equal to 28 degrees. And we put that in.